I want you to think about something for a moment. When life is like completely falling apart, we know exactly how to pray. We know the exact words to say. We know how to emote our feelings. We know how to connect and to plead with God. But let me tell you this, your faith sucks right now because life is too good. Your faith is stagnant right now because you've got too many things, great things that are going on. Your faith is stuck right here and right now because your success has led you to the illusion that you're in control. So my friends, this is a sign to you right here and right now. Snap out of it. It really is true, friends. When chaos surrounds us, when it feels like the world is ending and crumbling beneath our feet, we know exactly how to pray. And more than knowing exactly how to pray, we know that it is necessary for us to pray. When we reach those rock bottom moments in our lives, we have nowhere else to turn but to God. And we fall on our knees and we plead and we beg God. Above all else, we surrender. If this is your will, God, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to surrender my heart and my spirit to you. But when did that stop? When did that posture evolve for us? From needing God to just tolerating God when it's convenient for us. Probably somewhere around the time that you stopped having to look at your bank account every single week just to make sure that there was enough for your bills to be paid. Probably around the time that your kids developed a level of stability in their lives. Probably around the time that your family became healthy, that your job became stable, that you found consistency and stability in your life. And my friends, whether we admit it or not, whether we like it or not, that stability and that comfort has deceived us into thinking that our lives are not stagnant. That comfort has deceived us into thinking that our faith hasn't made way for apathy. And in that place, our fasting gets replaced by feasting. In that place, our prayers get replaced by Netflix. And in that place, our Bible becomes a really great coffee coaster. So today I want to talk to you about something that we never ever talk about, the danger of comfort. Now, if you're anything like me, you might see those two words, danger and comfort, on two opposite ends of the spectrum. One is something that we long for, and the other one is something that we desperately sprint away from. But what if I told you that they're more intertwined than you realize? What if I told you that comfort carries with it a silent danger, and that danger is a passive faith? You see, as we enjoy the spoils of our life, as we enjoy all that God has blessed us with, we begin to forget the one that blessed us with the things. And in that place, as we enjoy all of these blessings, we begin to push God out. We begin to use our blessings, the very things that God has blessed us with, as excuses for why we don't have time for God. Well, I want to spend time with my family, so you know what? I don't have time for this church event. I want to go on vacation with the money that I've earned and the resources that I've purchased along the way. And I don't have time for connecting with God. I don't have time for worshiping God. I don't have time for praising God. I don't have time for serving God because I'm enjoying all that God has blessed me with. And we don't like to think about it that way, understandably, because it kind of makes us look dirty and grimy. But there's a truth that the desperate times in this life lead us towards God. Those moments of complete and total desperation, complete and total yearning and need for God lead us to God. But success and comfort has a way of sneakily lulling us to sleep. And subconsciously, we begin to assess all of our success as though we created it. We begin to pat ourselves on the back and say, look what I've created. Look what I've made. Look at the life that I've manifested for myself. Yay, me. But Scripture says it. Every good and perfect gift comes from God. That beautiful paycheck that you've been enjoying, that wonderful health, that beautiful family that surrounds you and loves you. It all comes from God. Not because you're awesome, but because God showers you with grace. You know, King Solomon is this huge, incredibly wise figure, probably the wisest man in the world. And wisdom is the gift that God gives Solomon. And he continues to bless him all through his years on this earth. But Solomon was human in the way that you and I are human. And over time, with all of this wisdom and all of this success, he began to pat himself on the back. He began to think that he was more in control than God. He began to conflate his power on this earth with God's power in the world. And so he started to make selfish decisions. He started to make decisions as though he was in control. He started to make decisions as though he could survive and thrive without God. And my friends, all of that power, all of that wisdom, all of that strength, and all of that success, God took it back. Whether we acknowledge it or not, we let comfort, we let prosperity, we let success in this life get to our head, and we let it distract us instead of letting it lead us closer to God. And maybe this is the reminder that we need right here and now. You know, I was driving along the side of the road and I saw this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous body of water. And I stepped out onto the pier and I realized how blessed I truly am to have a wonderful family, to have a life that allows me moments of respite, that allows me moments to reconnect with God, and that God offers beautiful and simple gifts like this. And it's hard to see this and to pat yourself on the back because I didn't do this. I didn't make any of this possible. God did. And maybe we need a kick in the pants. Maybe we need a shock to our systems. Maybe we need a reminder of what it means to be desperate for God, to be desperate for progress in our lives, and to be desperate to grow into all that we have been called to be. Because if we're honest, if it were not for God, where would you be? I most certainly wouldn't be here. I've made dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision, and still God has blessed me. Still God has covered me. Still God has loved me. If not for God, I don't know where I would be. So maybe it's time that we stop letting comfort, we stopped letting this stability rob us of the hunger that led us to God in the first place. Maybe it's time that you acknowledge that you're in a comfortable season right now and understand that it's okay to have success, that it's okay to be stable, it's okay to be washing yourself in the blessings of God. But the condition of your spirit in the midst of all of that blessing, it matters. That instead of saying, look at what I've done, you begin to say, look at what God is doing for me. My friend, you've experienced enough life to know that life moves and ebbs and flows. It moves in mountains and valleys. And don't wait for a storm to shock your life, to wake you up to the presence of God. Don't wait to hit rock bottom before you acknowledge that you are only here by the grace of God. Don't tumble into the valley in order to recognize the beauty and the power of God. Do it right here, right now at the mountaintop. Do it right here and right now on the shores of something beautiful. Do it right here, right now in a land of milk and honey. And in that spirit, be desperate once again. Long for God to lift you up and to hold you in the same way that got you here. Because the truth is, maybe you didn't get here by your strength alone. Maybe you got here by surrender. And just maybe, it's going to be surrender that carries you forward. Thanks for tuning in, my friends.
These are your thoughts, Tatum. This is the hope of God set free. These are your thoughts.